my initial training was as a pediatrician. And so I went through medical school and then a pediatric residency. And a lot of medical training is built on an apprenticeship model, which means that you as a more junior learner are often provided training and supervision by a more senior learner. And I really, really loved that system. I loved the idea that the people who were teaching me and training me, that they had walked in my shoes. And that model just made a lot of sense to me, because then I knew that when I was a more senior trainee, I was responsible for teaching and training the people more junior to me. And there's something really special about medical training, that apprenticeship model. It's not just that you're a teacher, it's that you're really a trainer and a role model and a mentor, really. So I feel like that's when I had some early, really positive experiences with mentorship. And so when my career shifted to include more research, it really made me think, how could I build a system that would integrate some of those key elements of apprenticeship and the idea that even when you're a learner, you can still be a teacher. And so I think that a lot of the ways that we've structured SMAHRT to have people build experience and mentor each other is built off of those models that have existed in medicine for a long time. One of the things that I really like reflecting on in how we've set up the mentorship structure on SMAHRT is that one of my very favorite educational theories when I went through my master's in education training was put forth by John Dewey. And it was this idea that learning is doing. And I spent a lot of time thinking about that and what that meant. And in medicine, we have a saying of see one, do one, teach one. And to me, those two really seem to kind of mesh together. And so one of the things that I really love about our work on SMAHRT is that when we are working with people that we're mentoring and research interns, we are thinking about providing them mentorship, and we're providing them mentorship in research. And so part of that needs to be giving people the experience of doing research and doing research as a researcher. So that's really where the idea of the independent project, and the independent project is something that everyone does, not just something that people who ask for it or people who get all their other work done get to do it. We really wanted this to be something that was standard for everyone, so that everyone got to not just see one, but do one. And I think that learning by doing means learning to ask those questions. You know, as a research intern, you're often helping to work on other people's questions. You're helping to work on our team's questions. But I think only by asking your own questions do you really learn what a hard job, but what a fun job it is to come up with your own questions and figure out how to answer them.
I think until I joined SMAHRT, like the last semester of my senior year, really at that tail end was the first time that I had been exposed to any formal mentoring relationship. And I think having it be a structured mentorship model really helped me. You know, it helped me be able to have regular meetings. Brad was my mentor coming on, and then also meeting with Megan too throughout was really helpful. It really gave a good consistent space to be able to ask the questions that I had, to be able to seek help, to be able to learn and grow. And I think that that is the biggest piece of advice that, you know, I would have, is just making the mentorship relationship a little bit more formal with regular meetings, regular communication. I think being on SMAHRT, I've never felt afraid to ask a question, which I think is an area of like personal growth for me over the last like several years. I think originally undergrad, I was terrified to talk to any professor or anyone that had doctor in front of their name. I just kind of never did. But being on SMAHRT and just being able to see that, like, you know, these people do want to talk to me. They do want to hear my ideas. Like, I feel like a valued member. I think that that is something that has really enriched the mentorship experience personally.
I don't know. She's always helped with so many, or given me so many opportunities in my career too. And I feel like there's been like several pieces of advice that I will keep forever. But I think one thing is that I'm constantly learning, which is something that I really learned from her as a mentor, and watching her mentor me is like, I don't know, it's okay to not understand something and to ask questions and then move on from there and grow. So I think that's really something that I try to emulate in my mentoring relationships as well.
So I'll just start off by saying that Megan is a wonderful mentor. I feel like on the one hand, like she's just someone who is a friend that I share interests with, but she's also, a helper and a teacher. And she's also a great person who's always just thinking about, sometimes before I'm thinking about the next step in my career, she's already kind of suggesting opportunities. So that's really awesome. But I would say that one thing I think that she does really uniquely and really well is to take things that seem like they might be really difficult and make them seem simple and doable. And so, on the one hand, I feel like she always emphasizes the expertise that we have and already bring to the table to make new skills seem not so remote. But then she's also really good at just describing them in a simple way and kind of saying, oh, you can do this, that's nothing. And I feel like without that, there's a lot of things that I would have otherwise thought, that seems really hard, I don't know if I can do that. But she's very good at just saying, no, it's simple, anybody can do it.
One lesson I've learned over and over that maybe I wasn't expecting at first is how important it is to have near-peer mentors. So having those mentors that are maybe even just a year or two ahead of where you are, those people who have been where you are, and they've been where you are very recently, those have been some of the most valuable mentoring experiences I've had, is people who have recently been through something can sit down with me and say, here's what I didn't expect, here's the things to watch out for, here's some things to prepare for. And a lot of SMAHRT's near-peer mentoring is really built off of that model, that even within a couple of years experience, you can grow so much and you have so much to offer to people. And that can also be a really supportive and collegial mentoring structure where over the years, some of my near-peer mentors have become my colleagues. And now after a long period of time, some of them are really good friends. So I think the near-peer structure is something that we don't always talk about in when we think about mentoring, but it's been really, really valuable for me. And I've hoped that within the team, it's something that's valuable for each of us to get to be in that role of near-peer mentor. People can become a mentor before they think that they traditionally would be ready for it. But I think that if within our world or within our academic structure, we had more opportunities for people to step up and mentor earlier, it's definitely something that allows you as the mentor to grow and you as the mentor to learn. I know that every time I'm in a mentorship relationship, I'm often the one who's really learning a ton. And so taking those opportunities to have those experiences to be both a mentor and a mentee, I think is really part of good science.